Pay very close attention to this episode because it's not just going to be useful to you, but it will be useful to people who are looking up to you. I'm very, very skeptical about having children. In fact, even getting hitched, like dating somebody, things like that give me anxiety. For the simple fact that I know that I'm not perfect. I know that I'm flawed. Imagine your goat is not up to, I want to say puberty now, but imagine a goat that is not mature. You want to mate it to give, it doesn't even make any sense. And so sometimes I feel like that. Like, where am I in terms of emotional intelligence? Where am I in terms of self-awareness? Where am I? How much do I know myself that I want to reproduce and bring a child into this world that I will start training with which knowledge can? And so these things make me feel like, maybe you're not ready for a child. And then this understanding of yourself and what you need to bring to the table in a relationship makes me wonder, maybe I'm not ready to, hitch myself with anybody now. Because I'm 28 now and I'm thinking, are you sure if you get involved with somebody now, you might end up marrying that person? Me, that's how I think. I don't need to joke, play. I might have been with many women in my life, but to see relationship, dating, I've only dated like 4 girls in my entire life, maybe 5, I can't quite remember now. But the point is, it's something that I'm very, very skeptical about doing because I know what it may lead to. In 100 level, I got into university at 17. And a lot of things, now, that was even when I got the most freedom. A lot of things started influencing me. And one of the things that influenced me was Light and Gerald. These are 2 guys that were in 200 level when I was in 100 level. They were older than me. Every boy always needs a man to usher him into manhood. That's why I don't believe women can raise men. Single mothers that are raising boys, they need a man in that boy's life to usher him into manhood, to teach him what it means to be a man. And so when you get to a certain age, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, like you see those years like this now, there needs to be, boys are like craving this dominant male figure in their life that's going to teach them manhood and usher them in, give them approval and say, oh, yeah, that good boy, that's how you become a man. Like, but they say that to them in different ways. And ideally, you should be your father. But in an African setting, how many times do you get the opportunity to know your father to that level? Your father should be the one who teaches you. Ideally, it should be your father that teaches you how to shave both your pubes and your facial hair, teaches you about women, teaches you things like even post-nut clarity, teaches you duty, emotional control, even like deeper things like how to, depending on their level of depth and intellect and emotional intelligence, teaches you how to satisfy your soul, not just your flesh. Like, it's why these things, I'm like, if I don't know it to the point where I'm confident now, well, how do I bring it into this? What would I teach them? And so, when I got into uni, 17, 100 level, Light and Gerald were my neighbors. Were like the older boys I saw around me. So like I said, in Nigeria, if your father is not as close to you like that, the next thing we start looking at is like our elder brothers, the older cousins we have, the older people who we see around us. Those are our examples. And the 100 level in the same compound, I had Light and Gerald. Even then, every time I would be talking about Light and Gerald. And my friends would be like, every day you talk about these guys. But I've noticed that it is a symptom of that respect. Whenever you want to know, who is this person learning from? Who is it that this guy is looking up to? This young man of this 13, 14, 15, who is he looking up to? Listen to him talk. Whenever he's trying to make reference to a man, who does he mention? Especially the one that he has access to. You will see that the answer is going to jump out at you because there's always somebody he's talking about. For example, my friend Noeda, he does this thing where he has, he's a coach, right? So he coaches under 13s boys in 302 Barracks, Nigeria. And even in his absence, they're always discussing him. The barracks is a community now. So even if I'm not around him and I'm just walking around or there's a match going on and he's playing and I'm just in the stands, when the kids are there, they will talk about him a lot. So you see that, this guy is an inspiration for them. You can feel that because that's, he's on their mind and those are the people that's the model that they have in front of them. And that goes a long way to make or break a person's life. let me go back to my story. 100 level with Light and Gerard. Light is a different character from Gerard, even though they are both roommates. That's why I call their name together all the time. They're roommates. Light was more like a churchy guy. He used to draw that time. And then Gerard was much more radical, you know. He used to smoke, he used to womanize, he used to gamble. And he had steez. Light was like a... Light was a... I don't know how it's called them. He's a waste man. Not waste man, well, you don't know. He didn't have steez. I mean, I'm attracted to steez. From a very young age, I've always liked level, steez, those kind of things. Clearly, you can see me now. If you check my life, you know that I like that kind of stuff. And so I was closer to Gerard. And it's from him that I learned how to gamble. It was with him that I placed my first bets. And obviously in 200 level, that whole gambling thing became a dependency. But something happened in 300 level that opened my eyes only halfway. And that was that because of a gambling addiction, I had lost my school fees. I became a huge issue in the extended family. Archie was there, they gave you your school fees, you went to go and gamble with me. How? Blah, 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 blah. And then in an apology text, let me give you a small backstory to help you understand this thing, right? Remember, we are at the part where I had that whole gambling issue, my whole extended family is upset and everything. But let's rewind to when I was in junior secondary school. I spent junior secondary school in Kaduna. And in Kaduna, I didn't stay with my family. In Kaduna, I stayed with my auntie. And my auntie has a lot of children, but she has 2 sons in particular who are younger than me, David and Edu. And until today, I'm close to these guys. And so when that issue happened, like years after, now I'm in uni, she called me and she was very disappointed, said a lot of things. And I felt really bad that period because I know I had disappointed my family and everything. And being the first son in my own house, you know, I felt the weight of the whole thing. And then in my text to her, when I was in my apology text, I wrote something like, and this is not a good example for David and Edu, these boys, you understand? I wrote that. But even then, I didn't understand the depth of what I was saying. Let me give you another scenario. After school, I started doing this job and I had this deal with this guy that I had met in school. I was in like 300-400 level when he was in 100 level. So I'm older than him, clearly. Not necessarily by age, even if I know I'm older than him by age, but not with the gap I gave him in school. But we had this deal where we used to do normally and we share money. It was a consistent thing, you get. But there was one time the thing was going to go bad. The money that came didn't come in as it was supposed to. So the sharing pattern was kind of a bit disjointed. Or something like the payment was delayed. So I was wondering why he hadn't paid me yet. And I was aggressive. Like, you know how you want to chance somebody and collect your money because you don't want anybody to rip you. That kind of level. So I was on that P with him. And eventually he paid me the money and everything. But I remember how he was when I was trying to chance him. So the things he said, I can't remember them word for word though. I just remember how those things made me feel in the moment. And then it occurred to me, like years later, because this thing happened like in 2022. So months later, it occurred to me that, so Rankin was looking at me as an elder brother, like as an egbon, not as his mate. So me squabbling for that money with him was disappointing to him, even if he knew he was in the wrong. But the way I contact with him for that money, I was in the, like, it reduced my steez with him. It reduced my respect with him in a way. I realized that the way he used to treat me when we were in uni and even after uni we started doing this our business, there was a certain level of respect I did not even notice that he had for me until after. You know, obviously after that period, we still used to do business, but we are not like seeing each other face to face a lot or chatting a lot. It was just business for most of the time. So it's not so I can track any disrespect that came after. But I understood that something had happened there. Same thing with me. There are certain people in my life that I look up to. When I was younger, a lot of the time, when I wanted to do something, and I'm talking about this age now, between under 20, like from 15 years upward to like 19. Whenever I want to make a decision, I want to do something. You know, as a young man, esteem is very important to you. Anything that will make you lose aura, you want to cut it out of your life. And so I would want to do something that is not even that is insignificant, like, should I pick up this thing or should I eat this corn on the road before going home or leave it and go and eat it? So just think of anything mundane. And I would think, would Bro Wisdom do this? I always think of Bro Wisdom because Bro Wisdom is my cousin who was older than me, my father's elder brother's first son. So In my father's immediate elder brother's family, he was the one in my position. He was the first one in that family, but he was much older than me. I think Boris was like 10 years older than me or something or more. So I used to look up to him too because he spent a lot of time in our house as well. So even if I was the first one in my family, there was a period of time where I had something of an elder brother inside that household. So now, even when he was not around, I used to think, what would he do in this situation? Now, Borism does not even know that I used to think like that. And so when I now realized that this is how I was thinking, I said, wait, which means Chigozie, people are looking at you and like, would Chigozie do this when they want to make decisions? At least at that stage that they are. Maybe at this stage now, I'm 28 now, these boys are in their early 20s, mid-20s. They probably won't have these thoughts anymore. That every young man, his own intuitions and the patterns that he develops and the decision-making processes are all influenced by the men he looks up to. And so if somebody doesn't have any man to look up to at all, and all he has is women to look up to, he'll be thinking more feminine. He'll be making emotional, rational decisions. There's this team I used to play football with when I lived in Makurdi. This was my team. And we had a coach, even though the coach is like my mate maybe, or maybe a little bit older than me. But we had a coach nonetheless. This guy that used to come, organize the whole team and organize the play and the football. I just noticed something about him. Like, let me say, after my third training there, I played with that team for nearly a year. He was too emotionally reactive. Small thing, he has shouted, yeah! We play football, if you're not playing it the way he wants, he will just end the game and start screaming at everybody. Like, gee, you're losing rest. Like, it's all because you're a coach. So, nobody wants to be disrespectful or start the disrespect. If not, you deserve the disrespect because of the way you are so emotionally reactive. The way he behaves, like, it's so... And I used to suspect that he was raised by a woman. Even if till now, I don't know if that is true or not, and I've never shared that thought with anybody. It's just been in my head that this guy is always behaving like someone that was raised like a woman. And and there was because of that, there was weak structure in the team. There was a weak will. There's this thing that I think men should always have, which is this rigidity. Like if you put a structure, see it through. Let me explain what I'm trying to say here. In the team, we used to train usually Thursdays and Saturdays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And usually, if as a team we want to set a match or play a match, we set those matches on Saturday. So, players who like to play matches only because, a match is much more exciting, there's a crowd there, it's sweeter. But training is just a rigorous, mundane activity. So, if a match is on Saturday, training on Tuesday and Thursday, they will not come. And on Saturday, they will play. According to the structure of the team, this should not be happening. According to the structure of the team, if there's a match on Saturday, you should train on Tuesday, train on Thursday, and then on Saturday, the people who will be available for selection, especially to start the match on Saturday, will be those who trained well on Tuesday and Thursday. That is structure, that is standard. But this coach used to always allow it. He will pick a lineup. People who did not come for training Tuesday and Thursday or will not come for training during the week will start the game because naturally, they are better players than those who, I used to say, what kind of... These are some of the things. Obviously, it's a sweet family, so it's a sweet team to be in. But some of these things used to give me the ick that time. Like, what kind of thing is this? So somebody will come, will not train, and then they will still play match because they are bringing money to the team or because they are good players and this and that. And so, you see, when people notice that structure is not being adhered to and you can get away with things, they don't feel any sense of belonging. They don't feel any sense of respect again. Imagine you who came to training Tuesday, Thursday, hoping to play on Saturday. They bench you for somebody that don't come for training. Will you respect the team? Will you respect the coach? And I believe it's sometimes, I'm not trying to say women cannot do structure or do order. I'm just saying, I don't expect it of women. Whatever they like, let them do. But I expect it of men. If there is structure, that it should be followed meticulously, with strong head, to damn all the consequences. I don't know how many words I used to say this and I'm saying now. So if you look at your life around you, as a boy, as a man, even if you are the last born in your family, think very carefully. All those small boys in your area, all those small boys in your family, your small cousin that is 7 years old, you are his uncle. You are the one he's looking up to as per when I grow up, this is what I'm going to look like. Because if he looks around him, his mom is not. He doesn't think in 20 years time he's going to look like his mom, but he feels like in 7 years, 10 years, 15 years time he's going to look like you, and so he's going to be modeling his life, especially if he's impressed by you. And you know, with children, anything impresses them. The fact that you have the freedom to blast music in the house, you know, for example, you go visiting your cousin's house or something, and just you use that sound system in the house to play music and you're dancing. You've probably never seen that before. And so there are many things that as a young man you will show younger men for the first time, but to you it's just normal life, you know. A young boy might see me now with my AirPods, vibing, jamming, and bouncing. He's probably never seen that image before. Fair, tall, fine young man, expressing that level of freedom. It sounds like nothing to you, but to him it's impressive because he's probably never seen that before. And then that is an inspiration to him. And then from there now, he's following your life. He's looking at you. He thinks you are cool. He's looking at all the things that you are doing. If he now starts seeing you smoke, he'll be like, this is one. Me smoking is actually kind of cool. He sees you do something else that is impressive. Maybe an old woman is carrying something and she's struggling with it. And then he goes and he helps her. Or you go and you help her. He'll be like, this is normal behavior. This is actually whatever you do flies with him. He has no deep sense of direction unless the one you show him. You know? I read something. Where was that said? I saw this thing. I think it was from the Honest Bunch podcast. This woman, this pastor woman, she said in her family they used to drink from the age of 2. They started drinking. Like drinking alcohol was normal in their family. The man used to feed his children alcohol. So it was normal in their family. Yeah, in my own family, for example, there was no such thing as alcohol in my household. The only time I saw alcohol in my house was wine. And so it never had my father that bought it. It's always when somebody brought him alcoholic wine. And then he would just share with all of us. I used to go, this red thing tastes funny. But that was it. First time I tasted beer. I was an adult. It was 100 level in university. Ben Jack's. I went for one birthday party in Ben Jack's in Makurdi. I don't even know if Ben Jack's is still a thing now. And that was where I tasted beer. And I remember thinking, this is like malt, but just without the sugar. That was my first impression of beer. Younger ones, forget what the other people even think about yourself. You know that the world is always shaped. I said it in one episode a while ago that the world is not the same as it was 20 years ago. And it's because the people that are occupying the world now, that are running the world now, it's not the same people that are running the world 20 years ago. But the people that are running the world now were influenced by the people that they saw when they were younger. Me, myself, now, if I become the president, everything I will do will be based off of my experience coming up. If I'm grooming my own child to take over the business from me, it's what I teach him that he's going to do in that business. And so people are looking at you. And I know that I'm always targeting my team towards men whenever I'm talking. But honestly, I'm pretty sure there's a way you can take it in your life. If you're a parent, you know that people used to always complain, children now, you can do everything right. And yet, you can still go astray. I guarantee you are probably sleeping on this method of surrounding your children with inspirational figures, where you see somebody that you know is impressive and you find a way to bring them around your child. You know, women are very, very smart people. Sometimes they see a characteristic. I think I have trouble pronouncing this word sometimes when I'm talking fast. They see a character trait that is impressive in somebody, a young person around them, and they want their child to emulate that thing. But the way they will do it is to find a way that child now will be, that person, let's say that young person is you. You're an impressive young person. You see that woman that has a child or that man that has children, that is your friend, is always talking to you, joking with you and all of that, and invites you to come and have dinner in their house and things like that. It's probably because you're an impressive young person and they think their children would benefit from having somebody like you around as an example. And that is why you are around. You are probably oblivious, wondering why did this mother like me like this. Sometimes it's just because of the example. And so the decisions that you make, it's your life, you can do whatever you want, but decisions that you make affect how those people's relationship with you will go. And then to affect their children, especially if their children have already bonded with you. The fucked up thing about this whole situation is that you don't realize what is going on. Normally, all of us are paying attention to our life, our goals, what we are trying to do on a day-to-day basis, on a year-to-year basis. I mean, who has time to think about what effect am I having on the younger one when you are 20 years old, when you are 16, when you are 25 or 30, when it's not your child? We don't have the time to think about things like that, but it is so important. And the painful thing is that there are no do-overs. It's not as if you can go back and correct anything. You will be acting out your life in the best way you possibly can, making decisions that are the best decisions you can make with the information you have at the moment. And yet, somebody is copying your mistake. It's like sitting in class and you see this person that you consider to be a first-class scholar beside you, and you think no matter what he does, because he's a first-class scholar, he has to be smarter than me. So I'm just going to copy whatever he copies, because whatever I'm going to come up with on my own will definitely be worse than whatever he's writing there. And so you just copy whatever he's doing. But he himself he's not perfect, doesn't have a textbook in front of him, that he's doing his best as well. And so he can be making mistakes, but you have confidence that whatever he does is better than you. It's the same way younger people look at older people. Because you are 16, you are an adult. Sorry, you're not 16. Because you are in your 20s, you are in uni, you are an adult. The child that is in his childhood is not an adult. He knows nothing about adulthood. So he believes that whatever you are doing is you are adulting. And that is what adulting looks like. You are the model of adulthood to him. And you're giving Jesus fucking Christ. And you're showing him examples. And you're giving him examples. I guess that mindfulness now is what we need to have. Like, moving forward, just have that mindfulness. If you're going to do any of your vices because you're not Jesus Christ, at least hide it from the younger ones. Some people will say, personally, I never saw my father do anything that I would consider sin. It sounds crazy when I say it. Whether it's stealing, lying, cheating, womanizing, smoking, drinking, think of anything you consider sin. I never saw the man do it one time. But I know this is life. We are all human beings. And the man had me when he was 40. So he had did already majority of his life before he had me. So I don't know what he did in childhood. I don't even know what he did on earth even while I was here. But I did not see it. So as far as me I'm concerned, my father is a saint. And then that's the response. That's like the example I have to live up to now. Now my real life is modeled after my perception of my father's lifestyle. And that only does good for me. And so if we can replicate that model in different people's lives, what does the next generation look like to you? Make sense? It did. So those are the levels we should uphold, though. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. This has been the Good Living Podcast and Koke. See you next week.
Me? I go get prenup or some kind of, maybe you don't call it prenup in this country, but whatever we call it in this country, I think it's a prenup everywhere. It's a legal term now, isn't it? Because what is the discussion for if you are not agreeing and signing? Is it shocking to you?
What is that love inside?
What is the love inside?
What is that love inside?
It's all love now.
That's a soundbite from my episode with Felin on the Lean Scandal podcast. That episode comes out on the 2nd of April 2026. Don't miss it.